welcome to another episode of Ridiculous Ruminations, the very first one for 2023. I am the almost famous DM Dave.
I am the world famous Lemmy, aka Adam.
So glad to be back.
It's been a
month.
minute.
Been a month.
I was going through fucking withdrawals.
So hopefully everybody had a great holidays and a good New Year. So for the 4 people that are watching us, thank you.
That's a 300% increase.
Yeah.
Maybe even a 400% increase.
Yeah.
Shit. We're studs.
Before we get started, a couple things we want to talk about. Well, since we had this break, I got to do some things, around the house, catch up on a couple of things. I went in, getting ready to take a shower, and I realized in the bathroom I got a hole I need to fix. So I had to go to the hardware store. I need some caulk. And you would be surprised.
I think your wife has said you needed caulk for years.
Yeah, she was trying to tell me that there's a hole.
I know.
I'm like, yes, there's a hole that needs to be filled.
But she told me Dave has been lacking caulk for years.
So, I do. I mean, who keeps that stuff on hand?
I mean really.
But, so, I go to, we're not going to name the big orange store, right? Because, namely, we don't want to get sued. But these guys, wear orange aprons, and, I just wanted to get in and out. I didn't realize this day I was going to get an education on caulk. So walked up to the first guy that I saw. I said, "Where's your caulk?" And he was nice. He actually showed me exactly where it's all kept.
Oh, I'm sure he showed you his caulk.
He did. He showed me, all the caulk.
All the caulk you can handle. Really.
And we went down to where the caulk was, and and that's when I met Mary. Mary, thank you so much. Your help was invaluable. You would not believe how many different types of caulk you can find in a home improvement store. Mary was a caulk aficionado. She knew how to handle caulk better than anybody I have ever seen in my life. I mean, and you probably didn't even know this. There is American caulk, and then there's also international caulk. It comes in different sizes. There's different tips, different widths, just depending on how much you need. And she was nice enough to show me the caulk. She went through the different tips. And she gave me some great pointers, right? I mean, I don't know how much you handle caulk, but
I try not to. I pay people for that.
It's it seems like it's hard, but it's not. It's actually just the outer casing that's really hard. The inside's really soft, so once you have your hole filled, you need to make sure your caulk is hardened properly. There's ways to harden a caulk, and there's ways to not harden a caulk. And if you do it improperly, your caulk comes out all rough, and not many people like rough caulk.
I mean, I feel like there's a genre for that. I mean, people who like that bumpy surface texture.
I can see that. Maybe in kind of an artistic, specialized setting, you might want
more of a splatter-based kind of thing. Yeah.
But Mary knew how to handle caulk. And
well, thank you, Mary, for giving us this wonderful story.
We really appreciate it. You realize that
great.
They had it in multiple colors too.
Yeah, no, I definitely know there's multiple colors of caulk out.
Some of the sizes were bigger, some of them were smaller, but they all get the job done if it's the right job.
I mean, if you only have a small hole to fill, you don't need an industrial tube of caulk.
Nope, you don't.
Did they have blue caulk?
They did not have blue, but they did have black.
What about purple?
They did have purple caulk. Just the end of it been blended into regular colored caulk. But one of the internationals was from Africa, and yes, it came in a very large. Yes, so it was available. I didn't need something quite that big, but yes, you have to have the right caulk for the right hole. Not every caulk goes in every hole.
So I've heard.
So, but. Much again, appreciate it. Should we move on to?
Yeah, I think we should have moved on a minute or two ago.
Yeah, the wheels kind of came off the wagon early, but the OGL.
OGL. Oh my fucking god!
When we left, this was not really a thing.
No.
Now we come back, it's like got hit full in the face, right in the hobby. Talking about a hole that needs to be filled with a caulk.
I mean, I think they tried to fill all the creators' hole with caulk on this one, and I'm not talking about the tube of goo.
No, well, there was some goo, but it wasn't a tube. you know, and I'm not gonna stop. We're not gonna stop with D&D. We're still playing D&D, and that's what we're playing, and we're enjoying it. And you know, like I said,
but here's the thing, though. We're not coming up with a great idea that we can share with people for them to play. I mean, we're not writing. We're already using Dragons. But if we wanted to create our own world, we'd be shit out of fucking luck if we wanted to let people play with that world.
Don't spoil season 2 or campaign 2. But you know, we're saying there's a few things that I've created and shared, you know, with others. So technically, that would be.
I mean, well, yeah, but you're not actually marketing.
We're not marketing it,
right? But there's a lot of amazing creators out there, and if you haven't looked for them, I highly suggest you do, because they have a lot of great information, great worlds, spells, weapons, fucking classes. There's all kinds of amazing stuff, and this is just going to really inhibit creativity, because unless you want to whore yourself for, you know, wizards.
Well, it's gonna stifle creativity for Dungeons and Dragons. Now,
right?
You know,
Pathfinder, however,
I was there at the beginning of Dungeons and Dragons, or near the beginning, right about 1981 is when I jumped on with Dungeons and Dragons, and Dungeons and Dragons has gone through a lot of shitstorms.
But then you would remember all the TSR lawsuits.
TSR was famous; they were almost as bad as Disney. They did like to throw around lawsuits. Wizards, I know you ain't watching, okay, and
you'll never see this.
But you're not going to blow up the industry. Nope. Sword and sorcery and the hobby of fantasy role playing will still exist. You and I were talking about this. I can use any rule system I want around this table. It's about telling a great story with some friends and getting involved with that and having that back-to-back interaction. The only thing you're going to do, you're trying to milk, you're trying to get all the eggs from the golden goose. You're going to slaughter the magic cow. Now D&D is not going to go away. I don't care what they do. You could, you know,
kind of cross-reference there, and it kind of confused me for a second. So.
Yeah, the whole farm thing. Yeah, but you know, these magic beans are going to grow very small stock.
No, yeah, I mean, what you've effectively done is you literally took a product with D&D Beyond that so many people love and utilized for this hobby on a daily basis, and you just made them mad at you. And guess what? You're gonna suffer the wrath. And from what I've read, you've already had a drove of people unsubscribe from you. And that's just terrible, shitty customer service.
It's also just a start. Yeah. It's just a drop in the bucket.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to do the whole Valiant story, but go back and take a look at Valiant Comics.
Yeah.
In the 90s, they pissed off the people that carried their product. They said, we're not ordering it, we're not going to carry it. Now, granted, it's a little bit different now. The internet didn't exist. And that's why D&D won't go away. It's not going to crash. It's not going to burn. It's not going to be, you know, 2 years from now, we're not going to go, hey, remember that game that used to be published? It's not. It's still going to be published. It's still going to be there. But it diminishes the hobby overall.
It does, but and I don't want this to take away from my anger at the microtransaction bullshit process that you were already talking about, because that is still fucked and dumb. If you buy a book at full face value, you should get everything it contains afterwards and not have to spend another 99 cents or $5 to get the fucking cool skin that the other kids have. Go fuck yourself with that. If you want to do that, I will absolutely drop this platform in a heartbeat from anything that has not already been released. Everything I own, I will play. But I would never buy a new book at that point.
Now, I think we're in agreement. Wizards of the Coast, do you want to make money? Great, you're a company. We understand.
I get that.
If you don't make money, you don't get to pay the people that work for you, and you don't get to continue.
But if I buy a fucking hard copy book, how hard is it to throw in the online fucking copy for free?
Make as much money as you want to make.
Dude, movies do that already. You buy the Blu-ray, you get the online copy for free.
Absolutely.
It's fucking yours.
Guaranteed it. Well, you know, I'm not going to guarantee too much. But, you know, make as much money as you possibly can, but do it ethically. Support the people in the hobby as much as we support you. And it's a reciprocal process. You will bring more people into the hobby, they'll spend more money with you. We'll spend more money with you. The only thing we ask for is a quality product and fairness.
I mean, if you really wanted to eliminate, or not eliminate, but if you wanted to really help the product and then also get some of these amazing ideas that third-party creators have, what you should do is fucking invest in them. And then have a co-licensed product that you develop together that you can sell. Allow them to have their shit, but every once in a while, collaborate.
That makes both parties invested in a success. Nobody wants to see it failed because both people got skin in the game.
Exactly.
And, we're not going to spend too much longer on this, but because one, we want to keep our blood pressure low. Secondly, I'll leave with this, right? Because you and I talked about this, right? If you go back to before the original OGL came out, right, when 3rd edition was first being released, I thought it was one of the most brilliant things ever. I was talking to other people, in the hobby at the time, like, this is amazing. Nobody's ever done this before. Anybody can create stuff, and this is going to be great. And it was a genius because I can sit there and create my own role-playing game, whether it's fantasy or not, but I already had a rule set that was done. Boom, there you go. Now, every one of my players, they still have to buy the Dungeon Master's book, and they still have to buy the Player's Handbook, assuming it's not a fantasy setting. Okay, great. You conquered it. You came out with a D20 system that became universal for everybody to use. Not to say there's not other ones out there, but most people know how to play a D20 system. Now you're setting yourself up. You're wanting to get as much money as you can, and instead what you do is you're setting up people like Kaizo and Kobold to do the exact same thing that you did back in 2000 and do it better. Because they see everything that you did and they can act.
Because you just threw the fucking gauntlet, and brother, they just said, okay, cool, we'll take this.
No, somebody like you and I are not going to be able to compete like that, but they're pretty similar to where TSR was in the late 90s.
Oh, absolutely.
Kobold Press is in the same spot now. And they have the advantage of having the internet at their fingertips.
Yep.
So,
and a lot of pissed off creators.
So, you know what? Take it for what it's worth. Kaizo has even better than Kobold Press because both of them are in game stores. But everybody knows Pathfinder as well. So, do what you want.
Pathfinder is just D&D 3.75. And then, hey, don't forget that there's other great games out there too, like Call of Cthulhu. That's an amazing game. If you guys want role-play heavy, not combat, you can customize the scariness of those games. And it's just a phenomenal platform. If you've never played it or watched it, I highly suggest you do it. Taliesin Jaffe from Critical Role actually ran a Call of Cthulhu one-shot a couple years ago. I highly recommend watching that. It's just a great system for people who are in this to get into character and act out their dreams, to try to discover stuff, to try to figure out puzzles. If that's what you're about, that might be an amazing platform for you.
Well, we may actually be looking at this all wrong, right? I mean, Wizards of the Coast threw a grenade into the hobby for sure.
They did.
But maybe this is going to be a renaissance.
It could be.
A lot of different, games out there that, people get to try. And again, with the ability to self-publish, with the ability to hit people on the internet. And now, maybe this OGL is kind of like release the dog from its chain.
Well, yeah, because I think it'll really... I mean, there's always going to be your people that love combat, and there's always going to be your people that love roleplay, and there's a specific set that kind of like both. And I think there's going to be a little bit of a schism here, and you're going to have a lot of people go to Vampire the Masquerade, a lot of people go to Call of Cthulhu, a lot of people go to Pathfinder.
Star Trek, G.I. Joe.
Yeah, all those guys. But it's also going to allow you to look at those systems and say, fuck this, I'm making my own.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's go ahead and put Wizards of the Coast in the rearview mirror for a bit here. You do get a fuck you, Wizards. I'm sorry.
Fuck you, Wizards.
I'm still playing your game. I get it, but I'm not carrying your water anymore.
Many people.
So, I know it's been a month, but
it has. You're gonna have to give me a refresher.
So, last session was a lot of kind of killing some leads and some dead ends, wrapping some things up. You guys did run into Bob again. from the island.
We did.
You
Shut the fuck up, Gabe!
the
God damn, sorry.
we can edit that out in post editing, right?
It's funny because there's certain tones that I hear that start to dominate things so that I can't listen to you anymore and I'm drawn over here.
We can edit that.
And he was just hitting that right pitch.
Sorry.
Oh well, I know. I think we fired our production staff.
Yeah, they're gone.
We'll get some new ones.
Yeah, we'll do.
Anyway, so
So
the
last session,
doppelgangers are off in the wind somewhere.
some of them, yeah. We don't actually know how many there are, which is concerning.
The casino owner, he seems to also be gone in the wind.
Seems to have vanished.
You did rescue Sun Chaser's uncle, Tyr.
We did.
Got him back. Also, did find out that the guy the Medusa that was running the casino had done some trading at one of the art galleries. He found this
Yes, we did.
highfalutin.
Oh man, I forgot about that.
Swanky,
Yep.
swanky.
Amazing
upper
marble
crust.
crystal or marble statues. Amazing. So lifelike.
Absolutely. One of them a dwarf, one a kender, and then found out that they were actually.
They were really people.
So it's easy to do sculpting work if all you have to do is look at something to,
It's kind of cheating the process.
really is. And with a little bit of confusion, you guys left there.
I don't think we're allowed back.
I don't know if you were disallowed, but at least in the short term, you're probably not.
Probably should not go back.
You got the rest of the stuff planned for the wedding, which is
Did.
coming up. So that's
Suit,
going to be a
dress, all of that.
thing.
Boots, fancy footwear.
So you did get Alexandra back.
We did.
She is back and whole, and
As whole as she ever was.
yes. But Alexandra have been having these disturbing visions with 3 people in this party disappearing from her visions.
Yeah, that's not helpful.
No, it's not. Also with visions of...
Because I'm one of them, I believe, that
Yes.
keeps disappearing.
Yeah, you, Renkeg, and her.
That sucks.
Sun Chaser's gonna be a widow.
Would I do something like that? Make
Maybe.
Sun Chaser a
Absolutely.
widow?
Maybe.
Making every day count from here on out.
Don't you do that anyway?
Try.
I know what Lemmy does. I'd say he's got a lust for life.
I do
What's that
have a
lust for?
particular zeal for life, yes.
Let's not forget the lust part.
It has transcended lust at this point.
Depends what we're talking about. You still lust after the goblin cock.
That is a different story, and I can't find it.
You have some.
Oh, wait, I did get
You
some.
got
Oh,
some.
fuck, yes, I did
That's
get some.
right.
I forget what it cost me, but it was a pretty penny.
It was a lot.
It was.
But you do have some goblin cock again. The party overall ended up with a shit ton of money, so poverty is
lot.
not something that you guys have to worry about.
No, and that's why I wanted to buy a piece of art for my wife.
Yes,
Some
you
of those
actually did buy a
pieces
piece.
of art were gonna cost us all our money. That was
Yeah,
fun.
some of them were more than all of our money. Like 3 times of what we had. And I was like, hey, you fucking shitting me? I never even heard of this
Well,
person.
We did get one painting.
You did get
We
one
did
thing,
get one painting, yes.
right?
It's being wrapped up and delivered.
So we're really kind of stepping into, and we ended 2022 in the right place.
Yep.
Right. So this one we start off 2023.
A little bit of a nice breather. I mean, there's some things going on, but it's not hardcore combat all the time. Being eaten alive by acid and poisoned by fucking needles every goddamn time you look at a lock.
Well, it's not every time. I mean,
Listen, here's the thing. I just need somebody else to see if there is a trap on a lock. If you tell me there's a trap on a lock, I can pick it.
That's not our job.
that's true.
I just can't figure out if there is a trap.
You just can't
on the
see
lock.
them.
Nope.
You know what? That's fair.
Sucks at life.
That is a
Speaking of which, I got a new book.
Fuck.
that is a fair assessment.
It's a great book.
Are you-
But
you
anyway.
off.
guys-
So, I mean, but it's really a great stepping off point for really what is probably the last major part of our story arc for the Ridiculous Six. I mean, it's just some minor arcs that are inside it, but the big last major. So, are you excited about, what may be coming down the pike for this year?
I am excited to retire to a mammoth farm.
Zit.
You know, 5 years ago, I'm not sure Lemmy would have said that.
Nope. 5 years ago, Lemmy hadn't died twice in a week. Had all the skin off his back blown off. Had all the skin eaten off of him by acid.
Including the Skadiddle Hopper.
Yeah, made a deal with the fucking devil.
Oh my.
I mean, really, back then it was just Lord Sothy Poo I was worried about.
Speaking of which,
Fuck you.
come on now. What wedding would not be complete without the royalty being there?
You know what?
Swear to God, if Lord Soth shows up.
You should invite him and maybe let bygones be bygones.
I don't think that's the thing. I don't think Lord Soth does that.
This is gonna end up being some like
The whole
Sleeping
forgiveness
Beauty
thing?
bullshit.
I would much rather
That's what
invite
I'm saying.
Raceland.
Your
Raceland
firstborn's
terrifies
gonna be
me.
cursed.
No.
Raceland should terrify you. He terrifies everybody.
And
Well,
I mean, let's
I
not
mean,
forget
it's
we have a
rude
fucking
not to
floating
invite,
citadel coming towards
you know.
us.
We do, well, I mean, you don't know
Well,
exactly
yeah,
where it's at right
It's
now, but
heading in our direction, generally.
They invited
Um,
Maleficent.
with
You
a,
would have not done that, Kurt?
guys, we're still live.
They're killing me!
This is filmed before
Two people I had to yell
a
at.
live studio audience. So, but what do you think's gonna happen tonight?
I think you're going to fuck us with traps and puzzles because you just got a new book, and then I think you're going to try to kill us.
You say that every damn time.
Well, no, the traps and puzzles are new because you just got a new book.
What kind of traps and puzzles can I have at a wedding?
You're fucking subjective. I don't know, bro. You just read whatever you read. I don't know.
That is true. I think you might be off a little bit, but we're only one way to find out.
We'll figure it out.
So, with that, I think we are going to wrap it up here.
You know, we spent so much time fucking wizards that we forgot to fuck Zuck.
You know what? I mean,
He's
been
kind of a
kicked in,
non-entity
He
at
really
this point.
is. I mean,
It's more of a fuck Elon because
they're
fuck
both
Musk,
kind of, you know.
fuck Zuck, and then fuck wizards.
Fuck them all.
I'm just sticking with WoTC right now. You got my ire. The other two guys,
WoTC, you just turned yourself into douchebag number one.
you know, I'm hoping you just haven't blown yourselves up, even if you walk back.
Very
You know, the
irritating.
bullshit, straight up fucking bullshit explanation that came out. Was it yesterday or
No,
the day before?
it was like, yeah, it was like yesterday morning or this morning. I forget when it came out.
It's just a straight up lie.
I mean, here's the thing that pisses me off. Y'all survived that whole bullshit with how you treated POC LGBTQ creators. You survived that, and people forgave you, and you pulled this.
you put out 4th edition, and people forgave you.
You know what?
We
You
don't
know,
talk about that.
I'm not sure that this one is forgivable at this point. Even if you said, fuck it, we're not doing 1.1, we're still going to run with 1.0, the damage may already be done.
Yeah.
It just may be.
You just made your bed. You're gonna lay in it.
It's going to take a lot to come back from it. I mean, you know, it's not, you know, come on, baby, it's all me. I'm so sorry. Come on back. That may not work anymore.
No.
There comes a point where it doesn't.
No, this
Work.
was an Andrew Tate level of fuck up.
Yeah, kind of was.
So
But we will see what happens.
we shall.
Again, we're still playing Dungeons and Dragons.
We are.
We're still, you know, doing it. But
Be too much effort.
it goes back. I can play whatever I want.
And this shit could be converted to Pathfinder real fucking quick, so don't ever think it couldn't.
It can just be converted to Dave's home system even quicker.
Even better.
So
Change some names. You only got to get past 30% to get copyright infringement, so fuck you.
That's a lot of time.
all right. So with that, go ahead and
Smash!
like us. It does help out on the algorithm.
It does.
I appreciate it. With that, we're going to go ahead and get somebody to stop the video on the other side so it doesn't look like two drunk monkeys trying to figure out how to shut off a video camera.
Poke it. Poke it.
There we go.
You